The night before an off day is the essence of Christmas, a Christmas morning in the cabin when you wake full robed as you dash down the stairs and look before you as the land of presents and its tree sits near. This is also the language of Stardew Valley, and unlike a Christmas morning, it takes you through all four of the beauties surrounding this cabin. I'm not a night owl, but when it comes to Stardew, I have a few exceptions. It's been months since I've logged onto the game and booted up a farm, but the excitement that I remember I first felt playing this game has never left me. Immediately when you load up a save, you're dragged into a whole new world. Playing the start of Grandpa's Legacy on the night before the rest day feels like Christmas morning, all blending the best parts of the spring, summer, and the fall. It's the ultimate stress reliever, a type of work which doesn't feel like work, and a type of blue light which doesn't feel like hormone disrupting, eye straining distractions, but the feeling of reading books next to the fireplace. In a sense, the game shouldn't work because all you do every day is just work and farm and build and more of that stuff. So I ask myself, just why play it as a stress reliever even? Isn't that what I've been trying to avoid on a night like this? It seems other games would do the job better. But I've come to realize Stardew's fun works just a little differently. Even after just 40 hours, work in the game feels like medicine. And it's hard to imagine such a routinely based schedule farming game, half simulator, half life sim, and some RPG would pull over 60,000 pairs of eyes in at the same time for hours on end. But I know many who put an easy 1,000 in the game, let alone on a single playthrough. So it has certainly helped me rewire after a grind and smile to simple gameplay and a simple life, which is sometimes much needed in a fast-paced world like ours. It's a form of meditation and, in a sense, medication, if you will, gazing at the aesthetics, the pixelated nostalgic artwork, setting, and the simplicity of its gameplay. But what exactly makes it so Christmassy and merry, and deserving of a spot in this divine night, only accessible for a couple hours per week? Stardew and the seasons. Other than the opportunity for new crops and more profit, what seasons bring to the valley are its visuals. Stardew encapsulates what seasons are supposed to be and what traditions revolving around them are supposed to be like. I guess it's sort of like the blueprint of the best and ideal form of a holiday, whether it's the flower beds of spring or the Christmas in winter or a nice warm Thanksgiving in fall. Every season in the valley has its own celebratory traditions resembling our time but a fantasy level higher. I see it as a child would seeing Santa or hearing a folklore for the first time. Just imagine this winter wonderland, and or imagine everyone gathered in that cabin coating their sore throats in hot chocolate or their skin with wool blankets in full decor. It's just nice to think about, and I feel like the seasons in this game just encapsulate that extremely well. But what truly makes seasons seem as the greatest transition period, I think, is the music. Layered all around the pixelated beauty is Eric Baron's retro-like music composition. So I've never personally come across a more deserving and well-suited theme to the four seasons until Stardew struck the alley. Music brings out its charm even further in when the player inherits his grandpa's farm, the first of the four soundtracks of spring play. The second he opens his eyes at 6 a.m., the player then picks up that parsnip box waiting on the floor and dashes outside. And the theme just blares even louder, and it just continues on until, well, the end of the day. So after holding down a few spots and planting the seeds and watering them, he heads into the life of the valley known as Pelican Town. And here, Pierre's General Store sits down the street with all the season supplies, and the theme blares as lively as the strangers on their schedules, on the slamming of doors, and the colorful forages. As the days progress, new sounds appear. You'll hear Junimo, the swirling string of choking fishing poles, the talks of strangers, the swooshings of the river, but you'll also hear one of my personal favorite themes, Horseshoe Rat, that is a tongue twister, Horseshoe Radish, which plays in the following days of the month of spring. What I also love about these tracks is how they match up with the time of day. 6 in the morning is like the pre-verse, and it starts off very mellow and a little quiet, And then towards the evening hours, you would still get that quietness, but it's just ending and wrapping up everything, and it's just a nice little it's a nice little conclusion to everything. So it fits the narrative of the farmer's life and the given mood. Not only the music, but also the pixel art is just absolutely amazing. So Pelican Town, in a sense, reminds me of, I guess, those '90s houses in suburban America, which, they're lined by sidewalks. They're next to a few trees or park. So it's just very nice. It has a sort of Calvin and Hobbes type of feeling, which I really love. So the language of pixel art speaks almost nostalgically, in a sense. They come together for this almost animonial experience, as if you've been at this place before. And I imagine great childhoods there, with bedrooms as dense as Winter's wardrobes, the evening ride home for supper as a LOTR trilogy. Stardew and perspective. Dabbling in Stardew has me intrigued, providing a new perspective. I wonder how many other perspectives of nature and culture this correlation between ourselves and the natural world pop up in spite of our current technology or advancements. Gaming sessions and even leisure sessions have, after work, become a time of reflection and just beyond the fun and the gameplay. The art, the style, and the writing, the story, every single work is a new perspective and a new connection. And again, this almost new human experience. In general, games have more of this feeling than other art forms. Gameplay revolves around the player's pace and their interpretations and decisions in gameplay. Sandboxes like Stardew already provide players meaningful ways to self-express and create their own art in the artist's art. So seeing what all has come together, seasons and traditions, art, story, music, I find it very touching. It simplifies all what we've all felt into a timeless world, highlighting the romanticized and the rose-tinted. And in a current world like ours, I think that's very much needed, the need for childlike romanticization. Seeing Halloween, seeing Christmas, a spring dance, all following a never-ending sequence is just really beautiful. Because Stardew is infinite and kind of unproductive. You can go the whole game without planting a single seed and still enjoy the game. It still is art after all, and I think the level of reflection, appreciation, and expression it provides already contends to other forms of story or literature or recreation. With or without the screen, it is one of those games which I believe has truly surmounted itself as a new part of the human experience. Playing Stardew itself is unproductive, but you'll be just as surprised as I was after logging off the game, moving to bed, closing my eyes, and opening them up again to the beating sun, where a new light had popped in my head, and it's the only reason why I'm writing this to you today.